We opened the meeting on August 6th at 7:40.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show all board members are present. First thing on the agenda is approve the minutes of 7:10:14. I have no problem with them, I read them.
Yes, I read just a little while ago there. I did make a change. I left it, the text, but I put it on the Board of Health letterhead. Does that make sense, though? You know,
Oh, the emblem there?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I just copied everything, and everything that I sent back to everyone.
Yeah, it was fine.
I just thought
I
just
didn't
so-
have any changes either or additions.
All right, need a motion to approve the July 10th minutes?
I make a motion to approve the July 10th minutes.
Second. Do you second?
Yes, I do. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next thing on the agenda is 116 Main Street, in-law apartments. And just state your name and,
Yes, my name is Philip Parry. I'm an attorney. My office is in Merrimack, Mass., and I'm here tonight for Doug and Carol Jelina. And I've met with them previously in discussing with them their proposed in-law apartment in the building to the rear of their residence at 116 Main Street. And what I have here, and the reason for tonight's meeting, is that they had applied for a building permit, and the building inspector has required them to get signatures from certain boards, one of which is the Board of Health. And from what I understand, I haven't spoken with Mr. Skeena, but from what I understand is he required the signatures of the certain boards that that would have jurisdiction over it. And as far as the Board of Health goes, my understanding is that the purpose for their signature is to provide the assurances to him that there's an adequate water supply to the site and an adequate means of disposing of sewerage. And the property, the building that the Jelinas are proposing to make changes to is the second floor of their garage to convert to a living area. There is currently water and sewer to the property. It is served by municipal sewer. So if I could just show this to the board, and what Mr. Skeena is requiring is a signature on the front page. So I can answer any questions that members might have.
all right, in-law apartment. On May 7th, your applicant withdrew his approval from the zoning board for a in-law apartment. That is correct, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. And our zoning bylaws, section 107.9, dwelling per lot, building designs are available for use of the dwelling purposes shall be erected and placed on, converted to use any lot in a subdivision, but it's only one dwelling per lot. The other bylaws are the building's supposed to be attached. Now, what this board does and other boards, we communicate between us so that we're advised of what's going on in town. Now, this sign-off, why would you want the Board of Health to be complicit in breaking our own bylaws?
Well, with all due respect, I'll just point out that I'm aware of zoning and I'm aware of the section which I do have in front of me, but I'm only before you for Board of Health matters, and we may very well have to refile with the ZBA, but with all due respect, it really shouldn't be any of this board's concern. The only reason we're here is because the building inspector said, get the sign-offs. Now, we're really limited to adequacy of potable water and disposal of sewer is the only purpose for us being here.
I take, the Board of Health is also subject to the health and welfare of anyone that would be in that second story. That garage was built for the purpose of a garage and storage only. Now, you can't make a living quarter, it doesn't meet this. The Board of Health is in our bylaws, is why Pat Skinner checked that off for us.
Okay.
I just need to find it here.
Okay, and I don't mean to interrupt, but. Yeah, and that's what's finished on it.
The accessory apartment must be determined to comply with current safety, health, and construction requirements before occupancy. The Board of Health is required to make sure. The permit, though, we shouldn't be approving things that aren't approved in the town. You know, as soon as he has a letter from the zoning board that he's granted to have a in-law apartment, we would gladly sign that off. But my personal feelings is I'm not gonna be complicit with signing something that's not approved in the town. And through the years, I've been on boards 30 years, and there are some exceptions of people getting away with things because they go to boards and ask for sign-offs, and the boards aren't up to date on the particular problem of that issuance, of that particular situation, and they sign it arbitrarily. And we want to stop that. A couple times there's been residents that got away with it. But this board, I think, doesn't want to be complicit in doing that. We want to make sure that he meets the requirements of an in-law apartment. And in my eyes, he doesn't.
And I appreciate where you're coming from. Again, that's a zoning enforcement matter. And as far as compliance with the building code, that's really Patsy's purview too. Now, before an occupancy is issued, obviously, you'd have to see all of the sign-offs on the various subcontractors' work and what's been done, and you've got to be satisfied that it complies with the building code. And I can appreciate that, but as far as trying to do another board's job or enforce or do anything with zoning, that's not really why we're here, and that's not what we're asking for.
Let me ask you a question. He has a garage underneath with a automobile lift and everything?
Yep.
All right, does he come to code on people living in the building, on the exhaust ventilations and everything in there? Will he meet the CMRs on that?
That's gonna be whatever the building inspector requires, but I will say that it is approved and signed off as living area up above it now, and it was constructed, I believe, with fire code, because there is living area
How
above
can
that.
it be approved when he hasn't, it's not approved for an in-law apartment or any second dwelling on a lot for living space?
It's living space in the sense that it is finished, and when he applied for the permit and it was built out, it's a family room is what it's approved for.
It's not completely finished right now, upstairs, but we do have permit to build a family room
A family room, in my eyes, is totally different than a separate living in-law apartment. Family room to me is a TV and a couch and a little game room, maybe a pool table. Not a whole living accessory apartment, but yes, any other?
I was just gonna say that we make a motion. It doesn't appear really to be a dwelling. I would make a motion that that you come back to us when you get the variance from the zoning board of appeals. And just seems like you're wasting time, or it doesn't make any sense to me. So no matter what you're saying, you go get and if you need some information, this water department, sewer department could tell them, and they know if there's sewer there, and there's, you know, but there's a lot of other issues here, and I'd just make a motion that when they get their, a variance from zoning board of appeals, we'll be happy to entertain and work with them.
Jack, you got a question?
Yeah, my concern, okay, is that it's the same way as I am an elected official, same as you people are elected officials, okay? We do not tell the fire department what to do. We do not tell anyone else what to do. If you're talking about sins of the past, okay? And those sins of the past are many. You know it because you've been in elected office for a long time, okay? Your colleagues on both sides probably don't know because they haven't been in offices, okay? I could name names and name places and everything where in-law apartments are that shouldn't be, okay? And it was just done. All that Doug needs and all that they're looking for is just a sign off that they have water and sewer. That's what you are elected for. I am not elected to go and say, oh, no, you can't have it because I don't think that sewer is right, I don't think it's healthy in there. I can't say that. I have no domain over there. If they have water and they have sewer, which they do, they have town sewer. If there was a septic system, it'd be a question, okay? But they have everything. And to have someone say, no, we will not sign it, you go and get the zoning board, that is the zoning board's domain. That's it, okay? Don't shake your head, it is.
I just did.
Your domain is water and sewer. That's all it is.
That's your opinion.
No, that's the law. That's the law. And if you have a problem, you should go see the selectmen. And they'll tell you what the law is. I'll call town council. Why aren't they here tonight? Because they could tell you, have you got someone from the town council saying that, no, you shouldn't sign it because he's gotta go before the zoning board?
Can I ask a question? You're saying if we don't sign this, you're not gonna get your variance because of us. That's what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying it at all, and I'm not even, forgetting about the variance for a minute. The only thing we need your signature for is what this board has the limited authority over. It has nothing to do with zoning, it has nothing to do with planning. To a certain extent, yes, the building code, and of course, before an occupancy permit is issued, you'd be inspecting, I would assume, for that, for compliance with the law. Our problem here in part is that the zoning enforcement officer has not denied the petition, and therefore we cannot go before the appeals board for either a special permit or a variance. Near as I can tell, the only sort of argument that's in here that would distinguish between the two is there's language that suggests you can't have it where you have a detached building.
Why can't you go to the zoning board of appeals?
Because the building inspector hasn't provided a denial.
What-
And he's
let
saying
me,
that he'll
Brad,
issue a permit.
Let me elaborate on that. Weren't you told by the zoning board to recommend you to withdraw because it was gonna be denied that night?
Well, I didn't appear at the hearing, so I really don't know what went on other than what I've gotten secondhand. And he did withdraw.
He was there.
He did withdraw, and again, I don't know what conversations went, what presentations were made. But I do know from what he told me that he withdrew to avoid a denial where he would have a repetitive petition. Now, what I also understand is that it was, and I could be wrong, that it was a special permit, not a variance request, or perhaps I've got it vice versa. And there's a big difference in the two.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it possible that the Board of Health can sign off that there is adequate sewerage and adequate water should an in-law apartment be built? Is that something that,
I would just amend that to say, should an in-law apartment be approved?
okay,
And I'll go even further, if you're comfortable
That's fine with
signing
me.
that, stating specifically that you are making no finding or no determination as to a proposed use whatsoever, I'm fine with that because I think that clarifies things clearly from your perspective. I understand why you don't wanna sign it, but really part of the basis of that has to do with the zoning determination.
We still have to check with water and sewer anyway.
Right, I already did, I talked to Tom, and it is on sewage, is what I was told,
And water?
yes. Yes, go ahead.
I have documentation and
Yeah,
proof
I
of
don't
that.
really,
I have a bill that proves that.
Yeah, and he did give it to me.
I don't really see a problem, honestly. It's up to the other people to. Approve or not approve.
I'm sorry, Jack, I'll let you pull it out.
One question, would you be okay with a inspection to make sure the ventilation for exhaust and the safety and flammable materials was adequately meets the codes and everything in that?
Well, if they're gonna do a dwelling, they're gonna have to go through all that stuff.
They're gonna have to do that anyway.
It's gotta be,
Because the safety of the people up in
I
the
know,
second
I
floor.
know.
Anymore, because it's up to,
It's up to, it's not up to the state. It's up to the,
and.
I think we gotta look at what we're signing off for.
Yeah.
I think we're signing off, it's more than just water and sewer. There's a lot of issues. Is this a garage underneath? Is it for business?
I don't know, are you running a business there?
No.
No, my neighbor is, but I'm not.
Is there a business going on in there?
In the- in
Absolutely
the
not.
building.
You're welcome to come in. You, sir, are welcome to come in anytime you like and take a look at it
So what is a lift there for?
for my own personal use. I don't like to go down to Meineke. I don't like to go down to Sears and pay thousands of dollars to fix my vehicles. I do that work myself. I have a machine shop in my basement. That's a hobby of mine. I can do things with my hands that most people can't. These are the things I choose to buy and put around me for my own enjoyment. And I don't think anybody in this town, unless I'm breaking a legal law that the police department can enforce, has any right to sit here and tell me I can't own these things. Or challenge me whether I'm
We're
running.
not talking about your. what
Yes,
you're
you are.
doing.
You asked
No,
me
but
if
what
I'm
you're
running a
doing in your
business there.
garage. I was just wondering what's going on there. You wanna put someone upstairs. I'm asking questions,
a-
what's going on in the garage?
It's just a
I'm not
storage
saying not
place.
to do it.
It's just a workshop. You're welcome to come look at it.
Well, I think we have to, I feel we have to look at, if we're just, I mean, we check this off, we gotta figure what we're checking it off for. And I have, the issue seems to be
Adequate.
being attached, is it's separate from completely separate from the
It
house?
is.
Yes, it is.
There's no way you can connect the two or something?
Well, you could go through the farce of doing that and connecting it, but that's not the intent here to play that game to get around the rule. It's how far away is the building from the back of your house?
I'm at guess 30, 40 feet.
Yeah.
Patsy's not requiring it, absolutely not requiring it.
It shares the same utilities basically, but it's not physically constructed so that it's a part of it.
I personally think you are playing games and you're trying to get away with an in-law apartment that doesn't qualify. If the selectmen want to give approval to something like that and overrule the bylaws of the zoning board of the town, I'd put that in their hands. I personally don't want to sign this until you have a letter saying you're okayed for an in-law apartment.
And just as a point, it's the zoning enforcement officer, it's really Patsy.
Maybe we should take
Well, he's appointed by the selectmen and so is the zoning board.
Right.
The rules as they stand right now is it doesn't qualify as in-law apartment, and I personally don't wanna have anything to do with giving him an okay to have an in-law apartment if it doesn't meet the requirements.
And I appreciate that, but again, it's not this board's purview to provide a zoning opinion, and neither is it the selectmen.
Our okay makes it okay for him to put people living in that second floor. And the health of those people are detriment to my signature on there. And I don't wanna sign it unless they're approved in every aspect of the approval of the bylaws.
This board's signature allows him to proceed with his building permit. If there is a problem with the use, there are other remedies, either from this board or from somebody else. They can appeal the issuance of the issuance of the building permit. And I'm not trying to be technical here, it's just that we have to have each board do its own respective job, and maybe in fact we will have to go to the variance.
That actually makes sense to me,
Oh.
so.
Again,
I don't have a problem with this.
I still feel there's a little more than just water and sewer to this structure and this issue. And we do have something that says this can't be a dwelling. Matter of fact, I have nothing against in-law apartments. Maybe several years ago, it's a great way to increase the housing and save on the footprint of the land. But I really feel uncomfortable with this, and I know when we sign off, it's a little more than just water and sewer.
Well,
It's different issues, there's different health issues, there's, you know.
Well, respectfully, if you decline to endorse it, and I can appreciate that, if you would please provide a reason why, and that should be in accordance with the health code, as opposed to an unrelated building code or zoning code or a planning board rule and regulation.
I mean, we could,
And I agree, you can refuse to sign it as a result of something to do with, it's within the jurisdiction of the Board of Health. And again, I'll repeat it, that if a building permit is issued, it's constructed, and before it can be occupied, you have a right to do your inspection and either issue a certificate of occupancy or not. But it can't be based upon a use.
What we are going to sign only says that there is adequate water and sewer, or just that there is water and sewer?
And that's essentially all we want, and you can qualify it in any way that you would like, that you are explicitly not endorsing a use, and this board's signature should not be construed that way.
Right,
And
in,
that's-
in the memo portion at the bottom of the page, write that in.
That's what I would be comfortable with.
If I can,
On the sign-off sheet.
okay, and I'll say it out loud just so that we're in
Yep.
agreement that any assent by the Board of Health shall not be construed as an assent to the proposed in-law use,
That sounds good.
Mhm.
to the proposed.
I think the other thing we're signing for is that that there's sewer and water in the street.
On
And
that
it's just gonna
property.
continue that
Thank you.
as a
That's all we're
consent.
saying. You know, we'll take a motion, I think we should do a motion, everything.
And
Yes.
We will in a
proposed
minute.
in-law use and,
Wait, can you read that?
Yes,
All
any is-
all it should, I think all it should just say, we're saying that we agree that there's water and sewer in the street. That's our checkoff, that's what's there.
okay, I was trying to make it
I
very
like-
clear
I
that
like
you
that
were
we're not-
disagreeing with the use, but
Right.
Right.
Okay,
No, I like that.
Yeah, what you've got written sounds good to me.
And I'll continue that. Any assent by the Board of Health shall not be construed as an assent to the proposed in-law use. And any assent is for the sole purpose of stating that there is public
Mhm.
Water and
municipal-
sewer, sewage in
Yeah.
the street.
All right, I can live with that.
I'm sorry, was the verb acknowledging is for the sole purpose of acknowledging that there is water,
Water.
public water and sewer?
That there is public water and sewage available in the street.
Hopefully that's fairly logical.
Sounds clear to me.
And that's labeled there too, right? Okay, and Doug was just pointing out to me that marked on the floor plans, the fire department had located where the heat detectors and smoke detectors would be, but in addition to that, whenever they go off in the garage, they're also gonna be going off in the house and vice versa, and that's something I think that's probably a little bit more than what code requires,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah.
It was just something he asked for, and I
Along with that, does it have the CO?
Yes,
Yes.
anything that the cars will put off, and this goes into the front garage as well. So if somebody happens to leave a car idling, if any of those get built up at all the fire alarms go off. And that's just, I wanna have the, my mother's gonna be living there, and I want her to be as protected as anybody is. This is why I fought for this so hard. I was not gonna go break the law, put her in a position that if, God forbid, there was a fire, now I have a person in an unlicensed dwelling or an uninspected dwelling. And I don't wanna put myself at that risk. I want-
If you put your mother up there now, before you go for
Absolutely
the
not.
zoning,
No.
you are breaking the law. I just
Right.
want you to understand.
The building
All right,
inspector is
need
the only
a
one.
motion to sign the sign-off sheet with the verbiage on the bottom.
Make a motion to sign off the sign-off sheet for the proposed in-law apartment at 116 Main Street. Under the following stipulation, any assert by the Board of Health shall not be construed as an assert to the proposed in-law use, and any assert is for the sole purpose of acknowledging that there is public water and sewer available in the street.
And I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We, one each of us just to sign here,
No, just one, Steve.
so we don't have to. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, just-
Could I have the chair sign that, please?
Go ahead.
If I can just grab these, will the board need copies of these for your records, or?
I
We
do,
should
yeah.
then, yes.
Okay, do you wanna take those now, or should I? Only because, I wanna give them the originals back. We just had two floor plans, a sign off, a copy of the water bill, and the original application.
The floor plans you're getting does have the fire chief's requests
Yep.
on it, which
Okay.
show where he wants the smokes, the CO2s, and the heat.
And that's everything,
Yep.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is emergency preparedness, Anita Wright. Oh, yeah, we need to wait for Laura to come back. You wanna put that on pause? All set, Charlie?
Put us back on here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what we want, is it? Okay.
All right, next thing is emergency preparedness. Anita Wright is here. And what was the initial thought of the board? I think was to ask her if she wanted to participate in the emergency preparedness meetings and things. So, have you thought about it?
I have, I've given it plenty of consideration, and as I understand it, right now, they meet quarterly, possibly a few more times a year. And I will go back to about 2 or 3 years ago when I met with the board then regarding how, the plan that we were working on and the use of the Bagnell School as a secondary site, et cetera. And you guys increased my hours a little bit then to account for EMS planning and work. And I see this as part of that, so I'm more than happy to pick up, now that I can predict my time, which makes it much more possible from being retired from medical center nursing. So I can make any of the meetings that they have. And then the only question I have would be if the board would, at your own discretion, consider whether you would want a personal report to the board after each one of those meetings, or should I submit a written report to be entered into the minutes as a result of what the content and participation was in those meetings. That would be the only question I had on that, but I'm more than willing to do that. And the health agent isn't here, but if we could get the chair of 3A, Coalition 3A, the present chairman, that person's phone number and or email, I would want a year's worth of the minutes so I could catch up on whatever it is they're working on, and then introduce myself as the person that they would be the liaison with in order to make those meetings.
We have the email contact, I think the person's name is Cheryl.
It's still,
I
it's.
forget
it is
the
still-
last name.
Okay.
Deborah has all that information.
Yeah, and we
Okay.
could send
Which,
an email to our letter, just stating you'll be the representative. We vote on it.
Do we want to say that she'll be the sole representative or joint representative? Because there might be some times where you can't make it and Deborah could,
Right.
or Jeff Dillon, so I think joint would be better than
I'd
sole.
rather just her, and we have the police, the
Police as a
deputy police
backup.
said he's more than happy.
Yeah,
to
the
back up.
LEMS people have always, have always participated in those meetings, so, even if he couldn't make it, or there was a specific thing, I mean, we have a decent working relationship, and I think it's doable.
yeah.
I just want to accept the responsibility as it is put forth. I have no problem with that at all, and I think if we're going to do this, then either a written submission to be entered into the agenda as I have something to report, or I can come personally, whatever your discretion is.
I think a written one would be good, and then we could read it into the minutes.
Could be entered into the minutes.
Yeah, that's.
I also feel that as far as a joint thing goes, sometimes it's just much easier and more efficient for you to know exactly what you are doing and not have to
Yeah, I think
worry about what
we each
someone else
probably
is
would
doing.
extrapolate from whatever the coalition agenda is, what part, would be on my plate and what part would be on the LAMS plate.
Yeah.
And we would at least know what one another, we heard the same thing, but, it might be something I have to do, or it might be something they have to do.
As I think of it, I think that our health agent Deborah, who works in Merrimack too, I believe the two of you will probably be at most meetings anyway, so.
I don't think she represents Merrimack. She said the nurse does it.
All right.
I think one of the meetings, it's the nurse from Merrimack
Yeah.
is the representative from Merrimack, I believe.
Charlotte's been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
So what's the
think
favor
that's
of the
great.
board?
I make a motion that we have Anita Wright be the liaison for the Board of Health to
Coalition 3A.
Coalition 3A.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They'll probably have agendas and minutes there too, so if they already have, them, that might be all done. I would assume they do minutes. for
I don't
Coalition
know.
3A? I presume they have
I've
an
seen a lot of
agenda.
agendas, but I'm
Okay.
going back a ways when it was first kind of
Okay.
getting put together. But I'm sure they've got something from 2013 that I can just get a sense of what the direction of the coalition is. Thanks. Okay.
Yep.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank
Someday I'll
you.
get a chance to meet you and
Yeah,
talk
so
with
we'll
you.
sit and talk.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.
Next thing on the agenda is the variances. Laurie, could you go in and get the packages? Should be five, but which one are you here for?
One Hillview.
One
Actually,
Hillview,
yeah,
yeah.
what we're here is more informative than anything. I don't wanna take up a lot of your time, but, yeah, we're not asking for permits or anything, just wanted to find out what the viability was, the feasibility of putting a, I guess an in-law apartment's not a good word. I just realized, my name's Dan Poitier, I live in One Hillview. I have, at the end of my driveway, I was gonna put in a two-car garage. Recently, my in-laws and my father-in-law's here now sold their residence, Massachusetts residence in Walpole. They live full-time in North Carolina. Asked me if, it would be a viable option to have a place that they could stay when they come up. It's usually like 3 months a year, 2 months during the summer and then during Christmas Eve. What I wanted to find out from you guys is how the septic tank or the health would be concerned with the septic tank. Not so much, we haven't built anything yet. I do have the footprint for my garage. It's a good thing I followed that meeting because obviously.
Is it an attached
I
garage?
understand that, yeah, that's what I'm learning, see, so that's good stuff. But
What was your system designed for?
it's a 4-bedroom, it's 1,500. The tank itself, right now, it's my wife, my 5-year-old and I, the only residents.
4 bedroom.
Yeah, so when these guys come up, right now, we kind of squeeze them into the guest room. It'd be nice to have another place that they could stay, and that's what we want.
Right, so you're talking one more bedroom in this garage that you want to attach?
Or even if it's not a bedroom, if it's just a separate bathroom, that if it was like a family room or a big room, that we could have a separate bed and that they could stay separately. So what's the definition of an in-law? That's my question, I guess. It's not a
In-law.
full-time residence, it's a part-time residence, so.
In-law is a attached area that has a kitchen and a bedroom and a bathroom.
Okay.
Now, if you got a bed in there, I'm sure they're gonna want a door, so if you add a door to it, that means that you have to modify your system if it was only built for 4,
Okay.
and you have 4 in your residence.
Mhm.
So you'd have to apply for a modification of your system. Do you have the room to add another trench? I'm assuming you got.
Yeah, that's why I had Jim come up with.
Yeah, he has, I believe, a leach field now that was designed for 4 bedroom.
Right.
One thought we had that we wanted to, at least throw out there, because it's only a part-time use, the system was designed under the local regulations of 150 gallons per bedroom per day. So it was designed for 600 gallons per day. I guess the question we would ask is, would the board entertain a deed restriction limiting the property to a 4-bedroom and allow them to tie into the existing system, possibly with a new septic tank, and then have it run down to the existing system, which would meet the state requirements for the size of the system. which is, you know, for a five-bedroom would be 550 gallons, and this was designed for 600 gallons. But,
That's a long run to your field, huh? Yeah. You don't have the topographical here, but off of Center Street, when you turn up Hillview, what side are you on and where?
The first house on the right,
The very first house at the bottom, the white one,
it's yellow up on the top.
or the next one?
The one in the corner, that's Center Street, the first
Yeah.
house on the right is
Okay,
number
so
one, yeah.
I'm familiar with that site. I was there
Yeah.
when they built the
I
road.
guess there was some radio towers or something
Yes,
back there, but
yeah.
straight, it gets pretty flat back, straight back. Just straight run right to the leaching field.
Now, is that the only variance you would be looking for?
Right now, like I said, I'm gonna put in a garage, and I wanted to find out, you know, what was viable, what we can do, what we can't do.
Smart.
Yeah, so I guess I picked a good night to come, huh?
Right.
this point, I would
I
say
wish
that-
all people did that.
That would be I believe that would be the only variance, because we would be
Yeah.
tying into an existing system.
What side of the house here would you be building the garage
And
on?
the garage is, where are we? Okay, garage, the driveway goes straight up, wanna put the garage right here. Which, and we've already checked with the zoning here, the surveyor can, because like I said, when we
Right,
put the
so
garage
you meet
in
the
anyway,
setbacks
It
and
meets the
everything.
setbacks.
And it would attach to the building on this corner?
I'm hearing that that's the way it's supposed to be.
It has to be attached, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so that would
With a
be,
breezeway or,
whatever, that's why I'm
Yeah.
finding out what we need to do.
It's
Kind of what we
better
had.
for your garage in the winter.
right, so you wanna go from
Coming into
the
the house.
town regulation of, what is it,
150 gallons.
150
per
gallons down to what?
Well,
110?
right, the system was designed under the local regulations, so it has 600 gallons per day
Right.
for the four bedroom. Under the state code, a five bedroom would be 550, which is obviously less. And so, because it's only a partial use, where it would actually be a bedroom, and then aside from that, it would just be another room, we would, you know, ask you if you'd be willing to entertain putting in a deed restriction to limit the property, so if they were to sell, they could only sell it as the four bedroom. But it would allow, you know, the use of that room, you know, the few months of the year that they want to.
Right, two questions I have, then we'll open it up. It has to be recorded in the registry of deeds as an in-law apartment, and if the people don't use it anymore, you don't wanna do that anymore, or they wanna live in Florida, then it reverts back to a normal house.
Mhm.
You can't rent it out.
No,
You
because
can't use
absolutely
it
not.
as a
Yeah.
income.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, what if it was a different type of a structure, not an in-law? Say it was a family room, but it has a bathroom in it. Does that still have the same restriction codes?
No, you don't
As long
need
as you-
restriction, because there's no bedroom. It's based, all it's based on
Based on
bedrooms.
bedrooms.
Okay, so if there's a bedroom in there, it's an in-law. So that's the
It's-
definition of an in-law?
Then it affects the septic system,
Okay,
and any modifications to any septic system has to go through the board.
okay.
For
So if we
any-
wanted to do a man room but have a bathroom in it, and it doesn't have a bedroom,
Right,
then it could be detached.
yeah.
Okay.
As far as I
That's
know,
how it
that's
works.
correct.
You
I-
mean,
He's
it-
talking about like a family room over the garage, the way,
But with a bathroom.
I don't, you know, if you need building, a bathroom isn't a factor.
Well, it
in
is with
sizing
the,
the
it is with the
septic
septic
system.
tank. That's, oh, okay.
No,
that's
it's the
what you're saying.
bedrooms.
So
It's
you
the
count bedrooms as the
If-
number of people that live?
I feel more comfortable
okay,
if you
okay.
want, if you wanna do
Gotcha, gotcha.
something,
I
do
gotcha.
what you just said.
Okay.
do it.
Right, because a
Trying to-
bedroom
I
and a
got you.
bathroom, one requires a shower or a bathtub and stuff, that adds the volume of the water.
Yeah,
Where the toilet just flushing it, they have the econo flushes, so you don't use as much
Okay.
water.
But it's still,
yeah, I mean,
it's
for
based
the,
on
for
bedrooms.
the
Yes.
amount of time that they're gonna be up here, you know, is it worth changing the plans that we already had, you know, from detached to attached? That's why I'm here, I wanna find out what my
Right, if
options
it's a
are.
living area, then
Okay.
they're gonna have to go in front of the zoning.
Okay,
And we need to just converse with our health agent to make sure, we've done it in the past,
Mhm.
of reducing the state of reducing the town requirements, because the town has more stringent than the state at that time.
Okay.
We can look into it.
Well, if we do that for them, are we gonna do it for everybody else? I think we have to be careful.
Right.
I think the smart way is, the way you said works, if you wanna put a bedroom, look into adding a field onto this or something. So, it's done, you have an in-law apartment, if that's what you want.
An in-law, but it has to be attached.
Attached.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, okay. Because right now, the plans I have
We're
were
not.
detached, so I have to go back.
Any
So-
living space has to be attached.
So,
Okay.
what you were planning was gonna be detached to put.
Well, yeah,
bedroom-
originally it was just gonna be a, two-car garage with like a man town up top.
And how would you get up to the second floor
Be a
from
stairway, a
the
stairway.
outside?
From the outside.
Is that that's what I'm asking,
It's gonna
from the
regrade it,
outside?
yeah, we're gonna regrade it from, it's about 4 foot, 5 foot grade
Is-
from the other
The
side.
living area defeats the bylaw of an in-law and having two residents on one lot. It's a no.
Yeah, okay.
It creates all sorts of.
Yeah, I'm glad I came tonight, because I get to find out about the in-law thing. It's good.
I think in-laws, I get, as I said earlier, no problem with in-laws, but you have to, I think, do it right.
Yeah.
No livable space.
Right.
Yeah, as a
I
family,
agree
no
with
livable
you.
space.
Otherwise, we're back what you were saying, we have all sorts of strange
Yep.
things happen.
Okay.
And that could end up becoming two houses on one lot.
Yep.
And you never know.
Okay.
Is a family room considered livable space?
It's.
No, not in
Well,
the
I'm
same
not
way.
In terms of septic.
If you get a bed and someone's
Yeah,
living.
well,
What about
I mean,
pull-out
if you had a
couch?
family room, say, or,
Are you the
kids' room?
engineer?
Yes.
Oh, you know all about Title V then.
Oh, I
You
know
it's based on bedrooms, tell them.
Oh, yeah, no, but I
Thank
mean,
you.
I mean, with respect to,
And giving variances, we have issues with everybody else coming in too. And
Oh, sure.
if it's a failed septic system, there's a different situation.
Okay.
But I think if you're looking to do, well, you have to have it if it's attached, I feel, look at expanding the field a little bit. Is the tank the right size? 1,500 gallons sounds like, is that right for 5 bedrooms?
Actually, one of the we don't even use one of the other bedrooms, it's an office.
Unless you can incorporate one of your bedrooms by bringing the garage into that area.
Yeah, they're all top floor, so it'd be like second floor.
Yeah.
Has some more thinking to do, I think.
Have you looked into that, expanding the field a little bit?
Yeah, we did.
It's gotta be doable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't there a separate, like a runoff on the separate side of the field? Is it another, how it curls down to the left? Isn't there a separate runoff field? Yeah.
We have.
Just put the plan on it.
No.
But, tell me, I may not be correct in this, but what I thought I heard you say was that what you already have in place does meet state requirements.
It does meet the state
It
requirements.
it doesn't meet our requirements,
Right.
but we could give them, if we
We give
Talked
variances
about it.
usually for septic system failures, we do everything, we bend over backwards, but for something like this, we shouldn't be bending over backwards, because then someone
Okay,
else comes
I
in, you
see.
just, you end up.
That's why I need- I
If
need
the town, we
clarification,
can
too.
entertain the change and we look at other towns, do
Okay.
they go with just the state 110 gallons? If we find most of the, we could change it, and at some point, I get no, but. it's
Okay,
like
I
a-
just wanted to clarify that
Yeah.
in my mind.
That's how
I'd rather see them add another trench than make
yeah,
it bigger.
we just get ourselves into a predicament.
Okay.
But we can,
You understand that? Yeah, I'm still fully.
well,
Yeah, I think in this case, the only difference is the part-time use,
well, yeah, but then if you sell it, then you have all sorts of, oh, it's part-time, next person's comes in, it's not.
Well, if they were to sell it, the deed restriction would, right. No, I understand, I understand what
You
you're.
realize
It-
just
maybe there'll
squashing,
be
just
some other
squashing the
little
fact that
variances
my
we could-
father-in-law was gonna fund
for
the
doing
whole
this that we can.
No, I can't do that
I bet you
anymore.
can.
It's a done deal. Well, thank you very much for your
All right.
time,
Thank
much
you.
appreciated.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Jim.
Good luck with the plans.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
All right, So the rest of them will wait and reschedule?
Whatever you would prefer,
I would rather have a health agent here
Sure.
because those reflect a well and 3 of them are setbacks on the wetlands
Yep.
from 100 to less. Yeah, I'd rather have more information.
sure. Do you want, do you wanna look at, I mean, I don't know if you wanna look at them now.
Well, if he wants to talk to us,
I
if
mean,
you want,
it's, I leave that up to you,
for just our education.
you know, cause I don't do engineers normally come to the Board of Health
Yes.
variances, okay.
Oh, well, not normally. but,
Right, so I
But
mean-
you can explain if there's any question.
Right,
yeah,
that's why I'm
then you may
thinking
not
while
have
I'm
to
here,
come
if,
We can do it next time.
That
All
makes
right.
sense.
Did you say restaurant? What do you want, is that a restaurant?
No,
Oh,
no.
I didn't.
We've got the
Because we can
roadway.
run through them pretty
the
quickly.
road- Let's do the roadway one, which is 40-foot requirements, and you wanna reduce it to 11. And that has also
Oh, okay.
wetlands too. Which
Yep,
one's
that is Dornicasky.
Hold on 1 minute. We need to change the tape.
Who's usually here is usually the residents here, isn't it? But that's okay. Good look.
This is 268 Washington Street.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, we're back on.
Just for our tape recorder, it's 268 Washington Street.
Okay.
Just grab my glasses. Okay. This is Washington Street heading up to the entrance of VZ Park. See the fields over here, and it's the old house that's right off the road.
Correct. Right, red house.
You're proposing to put a new well in?
Correct.
New well and septic tank?
Yeah, correct. The system was only 61 feet from the existing shallow well.
It's a shallow well.
It's a shallow well.
This is it over here in the back?
The well is right here, right adjacent to the house. Has a
This
W
one?
right in the center of it.
Right.
Is this is existing, one. This is the
Yes,
new one?
that's the proposed well.
Right, that's what I thought. This is
and
the
that's
old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. This is the shallow, and the new one they wanna put over here.
And how deep do you expect this new one to be?
I don't know.
It's gonna be a drilled well.
It'll be a drill well, yes.
How shallow is this one? A dug well, in other words?
I believe it's a drill well.
All right, so you've got well over 100 feet from the
Correct.
setback. What's the footage to the roadway with the use salt and everything?
With the well would be 40 feet.
40 feet from the edge of the road? to the-
Well, 40 feet from the property line, so it would be a little more, about 45 to the street line.
And this was picked because of the wetlands or setback?
I mean, we can relocate that. The important thing is that would be 100 feet from the septic system.
Where's the property line on this side?
It's way, there's a locust plan down here. It's probably, let's see,
200 feet from this point.
yeah, it's probably about 230 feet.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. So you actually could extend the well over into this area?
No, there's actually a stream that runs through there.
Oh.
The wetlands, yeah, I'm sorry, right here, there's a stream that runs across.
So this is the best point, that's why you picked it for,
I picked that because to get a drill rig in there, that's the driveway, it's right off the driveway. So what we use is, what happens is right here,
the back isn't accessible? If need be?
the back being, well, there's the wetlands.
Johnson's Pond.
Johnson Johnson's Pond is down
Not
this
Johnson,
way.
it's
Right
across
over
the street from Johnson's,
Meadow Pond? She should be a ways from Meadow Pond.
it's,
Where's, she's somewhere,
she's
this one,
yeah.
so she
And so
has,
the house is right
and this discharge goes down into this wetlands here?
across the street, into Johnson's.
Johnson's Pond, that's
Yeah.
technically Meadow Pond area. Well, it's definitely gonna be an improvement of a shallow well. Did she ever test that at all, that well for coal farms or anything?
Not that I know of.
Is that the only thing, is it something with the septic system is an issue, right, too?
Oh, well, that's what we're here, we're not here, the well is secondary, I mean,
Yeah,
to-
okay.
to the issue. I don't believe we need a variance for the well. We're here because of the septic system, she's selling the house.
Oh,
Septic
okay.
system failed. The existing system is shown here in the orange areas, septic tank
Yes.
in the leach field. We have wetlands.
This,
all around.
this right here, the 11 by the field, that shows
Yeah.
the road. Okay,
Correct.
that's what the 11 feet.
The 11 feet from the property line, the street
Yeah,
line.
It's supposed to be 40 feet.
It's supposed to be 40 feet, correct. To which I would add the property across the street, I have the record plan, which hopefully clarifies a little bit. This is Dorna's property here. Our septic system is right in that area, the house.
Yeah, could you stand up and
absolutely.
put that?
Yep, so you can see it.
So
Yep.
more of us can see what you're doodling.
Sure. This is the system. This property is developed. And then this is open space that was part of this subdivision. And I would say that would be the extenuating circumstances that, I believe this is deeded, you know, so that it can't ever be built, you know, to open space. And I think your regulation states that we have to be 40 feet if there's undeveloped land across the street. That would be utilizing a well, which town water doesn't come up this far on Washington Street, so the land would be utilizing a well. However, Lot 6 is developed, and in this area, I believe is, or it is open space, which I believe is.
Where is the existing field?
For the
Tank.
system?
It looks like there's 2 tanks here.
What I'm proposing here, let me, this one I think will be easier to, just so you know.
Oh, it's a pump chamber.
Yeah,
Okay, so she has to go up, you have to raise it.
correct. We have a septic tank, a pump chamber going to a leaching field here. The existing system is right in here, septic tank. And then
So the old field is right there somewhere.
There's a septic tank, I believe there may be another overflow septic tank there. Then there was, when we were soil testing, we ran into some stone there, which appears to be the system.
It's like a, it must be pretty old.
Trench- Yeah, yes. And it is in failure, so we're proposing this system, and the variances that we're seeking are from the town of Groveland regulations for the setback between the septic system and the wetlands.
Have you been to conservation?
We have, I'm sorry, on this project, no, we did not. We're proposing it with a 78-foot setback.
And the town is 100 feet.
Town is 100, the
Or 70.
Board of Health is 100 feet.
And conservation?
Conservation is, we just, if we're within 100 feet, we have to file a notice of intent, which is what we're going to do.
I did send a copy of the plan to conservation, Jim.
Okay, thank you. And then the second variance is, the second variance was the 11 feet versus the 40 required
From the road.
from the road. Correct.
And, well, we're dealing with like an existing system. This is when variances can fly. And DEP allows it, you know.
Yep.
because you're not gonna tell someone they can't, you try to do everything you can to get a system.
Well, we meet,
That's what's different about this than the
Yes,
previous one.
that's why I needed clarification,
Yeah,
because I
sure.
wasn't.
we meet Title V, with this system, it's just the local regulations.
Okay, yeah.
And again, I'm not sure if we need to ask for this variance where the property directly across from us is developed and the other is undevelopable, but I think we better ask.
So this system's gonna be raised a little?
It is gonna be
The
raised, yes.
topographical shows a 1 foot and then a 2 foot.
It'll be about 1 foot up on the road side, and
Yeah.
it'll be about 3 feet on the
Excellent.
pond side. Yep.
And this gets you above the groundwater and everything like
Yes,
that?
we are
Which is good, yeah.
4
well,
feet above groundwater, and
You're not looking for variance for that?
we had a soil perk rate of 15 minutes an inch. And that's what it was designed, it was designed to do 150 gallons per day, per bed.
Yeah, it looks all right to me.
All right, so that is,
You wanna,
I still would like to
Okay.
see if the health agent had any preference.
this one I have to go to Concom
because I
anyway,
got the
so.
impression that it was, they should give them to us to vote.
I think what we should do is just cover ourselves to make sure the licensed health agent agrees with what we're gonna decide.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So it's, what's the average price of a septic system, let's say a 3-bedroom house?
3 bedroom, if groundwater is.
Why don't I wait afterwards, it's just, it was,
Okay,
it
sure.
had nothing to do with any of that.
Sure.
It has nothing to do with me, just someone.
Which one do you have
I'm
out
sorry.
there now?
This one is 214 King Street.
King Street, okay, that's this one, yeah.
This one is Larry Lusignan at 214 King Street in Groveland. And their system is in failure. It's a 3-bedroom dwelling. They are not selling, they're doing this because they're having some backup problems. And their existing system is located here in Orange, septic tank and 2 leach pits. We have wetlands here shown in the blue, in the rear of the property, and then also across the street in King Street. Here we're asking for 2 variances. The separation from the septic system and the wetlands from your regulations requiring 100 down to 77 feet. And we are asking for a reduction in the separation between the septic system and the existing well from 100 feet to 91 feet. Primarily, we have the system shoved as far forward as we can without going,
You said our on the well,
oh, the well, I'm sorry, the well is the state variance.
Yeah. which is 100 feet.
Which is 100 feet, correct. And it's primarily, you know, we have the system, we're caught between 2 wetlands, the well, the driveway. We can't go underneath the drive, in order to go
No.
underneath the driveway, it would be raised, and they would lose the use of their driveway.
There's no other option for moving it further, to get the 9 feet, get the 9 feet?
Not on this end. This, you know, we are right up against the property line in this corner. We could shift it this way, but it wouldn't affect the separation from the well. What it does is it pushes this corner under the driveway, and that would, again, require the driveway to be, we would be an issue with the driveway elevations.
There's no chance of a delivery truck or a any heavy vehicle hitting the corner of that, going off the driveway into that?
Knowing the site, I would say no, but again, there's really, I don't see any other spot to put it. As far, with the 5 foot over dig, the 5 foot soil replacement, we will be, at least 5 feet off the edge of the driveway.
And that will be a gravel substance so that it will support vehicles.
Gravel and stone, correct, stone and pipe.
Is this a raised system?
This one is basically right at grade, as you can see
Okay.
here, it is a little bit of, fill, that's gonna, it is raised slightly. And you also, the yard itself too, has got some, mounding, so,
Underlaying terrain?
yeah, exactly. So it'll blend in better in some spots, and, but it will basically flatten out the front yard.
So just for clarification, what are the waiver variances you're asking?
The variances are a waiver, of variance from the 310 CMR 15.211-1 separation between the SAS soil absorption system and the well from 100 to 91. And then a reduction from the separation between the soil absorption system and the wetlands from your local regulations of 100 down to 56.
So it's 9 feet variance on the well. 40 something on the.
This has been designed on, for the 150 gallons per bedroom per day. I talked to Deb about that, and, I said, you might be able to, get another foot with going down to the smaller side. She seemed to be more interested in keeping a larger field so that it's not as concentrated.
Have you entertained the thought of a Presby system in any of these variances you're asking for? Because that takes up less space and you can stack them.
I'm not a huge fan of the alternative technologies, just because they have maintenance, and if the maintenance isn't done. On this one, it would be a little more difficult because the depth of the field is 6 inches, whereas the Presby is a foot, and then it has another 6 inches of sand above it. So you have about, so the profile is a little bit larger than the stone and pipe. Therefore, you get a little bit of a mounding, but, I mean, they certainly have their place, no question.
But they get a little mounding, but you can get the 100 feet then.
Well,
100 foot setback.
not, I don't know that we'd get 100, we might be able to get more than 91. I don't know that we'd be able to get 100. And then the other thing is, the 56 from across the street, we certainly would be able to.
Yeah, no, I was more concerned
The
with
well. It is a deep well. It is a drilled well.
how deep is it?
The homeowner indicated it's about 300 feet.
All right, move on to the next one. All of these will confer with Deb.
Sure. Get that.
'97 came next?
Yep. This is 97 King Street. Homeowner is Kira Nanturet. This is a 3-bedroom system designed for 150 gallons per day. The existing system is shown here in orange in the back. The system is in failure and the property is for sale. We're proposing a new system located, if this is King Street here, as you're coming out of Groveland Center, or, you know, you're heading.
Perry Park?
Yeah,
Yeah.
up King Street, this would be on your right-hand side. There's a farm area right across the street. And we're proposing a new system in the front yard. Proposing a septic tank and pump vault, single unit that will pump up to a stone and pipe field here. The system is raised, and the variance that we're requesting is a 1-foot reduction to the groundwater. The system is, let's see, it's about, we're about 3 feet of fill on the down, you know, on the lower corner. Primarily, we are trying to minimize the disturbance to the front yard. We did have, it was done soil analysis, soil evaluation. We had a little odd soil testing. We had groundwater in test pit 1 was slightly, was about 14 inches higher than in test pit 2. We held the higher test pit for groundwater.
So according to this, is like a 4-foot rise and then it plateaus off into a flat area?
It will once we're done. The entire lot continues all the way up. It sloped the entire, from one corner to the opposite corner.
Now, any of this proposed earth settling and rising, is it gonna divert the groundwater onto any otherbody's property lines?
No, we're on the high end of the property and everything flows across our property. Yep.
So it's all
It's all going that direction, correct.
There's one variance,
Correct.
And state that variance again?
It's a 1-foot reduction in the groundwater.
Oh, in the groundwater,
Right.
yeah, okay,
going from 4 to 3.
4 to 3.
yeah.
We had a perk rate of
We have
12
done
minutes
that
per inch.
before, yeah. All right, let's see what the, because she was there when the test pits were done and we can.
She was.
Yep. Good advice.
I attached Jim's letters, the variances, in case you want to look at them later. I'll check them
Eight Governor's Road.
8 Governor's Road.
on each property. On each property. Okay.
Of all of these, this is probably the most urgent one, only in that the homeowner, I believe, has moved out and is actually in the same neighborhood, but is looking to sell and get this in as quick as they can. This one has been approved by the Conservation Commission. What we have is we have a 2-bedroom existing dwelling. Again, the septic system is located, septic tank right adjacent to the driveway. And then there's a leaching facility in here, shown in orange. We are proposing a new septic tank pump chamber and stone and pipe leach field. This one is a pressurized leach field, pressure dosing. We have wetlands here, shown in the blue.
Excuse me.
Yep.
All right, I'm assuming this is Bulsh Ave and then Governor's here and that Southern Star intersection
Correct.
there? And is the house in this circle?
Yes. Yep.
It's on this side where the fields are, and the
Correct.
wetlands.
Yep. It's across the street from
Graziano?
Jay Graziano.
Yeah.
Not Jay, The father.
Hector.
Hector, I'm sorry, Hector.
All right, now I'm familiar exactly where it is.
Sure.
yeah.
We have wetlands in the back, we have, the house is on town water, and we are asking for 3 variances on this one. The first one is a 1-foot reduction to groundwater, from the 4 to the 3. The second is, under the state code, we're required to design for 3-bedroom, a 3-bedroom design of 330 gallons per day. Unless we put in a deed restriction, and then we can design for a 2-bedroom with a deed restriction approved by you.
All right, so ours is what, 150?
150, right. So basically what we're asking for is to design, or to, we've proposed a 2-bedroom design, and we're offering a deed restriction on the property.
How many bedrooms are there?
There are 2. Yeah, it's only a 2-bed, and that's simply because we don't have space. I mean, we're short on space without getting closer to the wetlands, trying to maintain a 50-foot separation.
Is that because of conservation?
The 50-foot separation, yes. I mean, we want to maximize the distance to the wetlands. They don't have a hard and fast setback, but the state regulation is 50 feet for Title V.
The only problem I have with deed restrictions is that through my years on the board, I found out that the people that are buying a house don't read their deed restrictions, and the lawyers don't advise the people of the deed restrictions or any type of restrictions on their land, like a no-cut, no-build zone. It would really, and the people that are selling them, they don't go
Well,
by that.
it is a 2-bedroom house. I mean, you know, if they wanted to go any more, they would have to actually build out.
How could you, design it so, well, what would happen if you moved to from a 2 to 3-bedroom design? What would happen on the footprint of the, let's say, the field?
It would go up 50%. Yeah, because 2-bedroom is
Yeah.
300 gallons, or 2-bedroom is 220 gallons per day, 3-bedroom would be 330.
So, for the variance from the wetlands, that's a state, so you'd have to go to the state for that? To get a
No,
variance?
no, that would, you would grant that. The state doesn't grant any variances.
Okay.
They leave it all.
And if you move out this way a little bit, you can go out this way a little bit, right?
We could, but we, again, would be going into the 50.
I'm just a little I feel uncomfortable, because the minimum design is for 3 bedrooms.
Right, but the,
Could you put a Presby system in this one?
we'd have the same problem. It would raise the height
Of the field?
of the field.
Up by how much would it raise it?
You'd be looking, probably another 8 inches.
But it is a 2-bedroom house.
It is a 2-bedroom house, yes. You know, in the definition for, let's see, 2 bedrooms. It says the applicant may design a system.
We're only talking raising it that much more, yeah.
The applicant may design a system using design flows for a smaller number of bedrooms than are presumed in this definition by granting to the approving authority a deed restriction limiting the number of bedrooms to the smaller number. Yeah. That's right. And again, it's because it is a 2-bedroom as well.
Stopped. I don't know where.
So, how close are you to the 100-foot,
We're at 50 feet.
we're at 50?
Where is this, you read for the,
For the bedroom?
Yeah.
The applicant may
Oh,
design.
that's good.
I don't see it here, but do you have a burial wall?
Yes.
that you're going to install?
We have a liner around the majority of the field, and we have a retaining wall on the side because of the property line. We can't
It's
grade
just
out to the
what's
street, and down the side, it's shown here in yellow.
All right, so if a breakout did occur, it wouldn't get into the wetlands?
No.
Okay. All right, yeah.
And then the third variance is we are requesting to design under the state code of the 110 gallons per bedroom per day.
How much under the design?
We're proposing the 110.
All right, and they're at 130?
No, they are
Oh, it's
110.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh.
We are proposed to design under state regulations
Use
as
the
opposed,
state code instead
as
of the
opposed
town's.
to the town code.
All right, I see the protection of the wetlands to reduce it from 100 to 50. And then the system itself. I would just have to really see what you're gonna word in the deed as a restriction.
Oh, there's a standard. Here, I can
It's-
show you
it's-
that.
It's here.
Yeah.
Now, who's gonna
But
put
there's
that
a-
on the deed? Who's responsible for that?
My client is responsible for having the deed. I believe that Title V has a standard boilerplate. And what he does is he has it notarized, signs it, notarizes it, and then files it with the registry of deeds, or records it. And then we provide the board, but through Lori or Deb, we provide a proof of file, the book and page number.
Can he get this done before we give the variance for that?
No, because if you weren't to grant it, getting a deed restriction off is, we don't want to put it on until the thing approves the deal. But I understand you could certainly though, have the deed restriction put on prior to issuing the construction permit or something, if that,
Yeah, okay.
you know. I
Because
think
I
that
wanna
has
make,
to-
I wanna
think it
make
has
sure
the same.
it's done, so it's on there.
Yeah,
People can see it, they know,
I'd
and it's
also-
supposed to be on there if we give grant the variance
Right.
anyway.
absolutely. And, you know,
That's the only way we can-
honestly, it's best to do it, you know, before everyone's rushing to get the certificate of compliance. That's usually when it's done. And that can, certainly, it's done better.
Yeah, I'd also like to see a copy of that recorded restriction in the assessor's office too. Because a lot of realtors, when they go to sell a house, they go there first. And they might be able to catch it there. Which we can supply a copy of and record it and everything.
Maybe they don't. There is a standard form which I can provide to get you a copy of it.
We've done it with the planning board on the restrictions and stuff.
Yeah.
And we've done
But
it
the
too.
bedroom, oh, here it is. Grant of Title V bedroom count restriction. You know, this is what I give to the attorneys. You know, it's,
Good.
obviously that one has all sorts of, you know, name and address here, but that's,
A lot of whereases.
yes. So much ado about, you know,
I've seen it, yeah.
We've done them before, though.
Okay, so,
and then the last page, I think, is the notarizer and signing.
okay, and they'll have this done at what point?
Well, typically it's done prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. But certainly, if you want to write it into your approval, it can certainly be done. I would say anytime after your approval.
As soon as possible,
Yeah.
after approval.
Yeah, and
So it's
certainly-
done, so there's no,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's.
or it doesn't get forgotten somewhere.
Yeah.
It could get forgotten, right?
Oh, well, you know, I mean, typically the certificate of compliance wouldn't be issued you know, would be, your board, the office would be looking at it. But to say it can't fall through the cracks, you know.
On the
I'd be
as-built,
lying if I said.
on the as-built, it should be noted on the as-built, right on there, that there is a booking page with the,
Sure.
everything on the as-built. So anyone that goes to buy it or comes into the health department, they can pull the file and see it right there, you know.
I mean, the long and the short of it is that it is a two-bedroom, they can only sell it as a two-bedroom.
Yeah, but you're gonna have someone coming in, looking at that, hoping, oh, getting a good deal,
Yeah.
get a little more money, we're gonna add a room on.
Right, right. But,
And the
I
septic
would
system is
say,
a two-bedroom.
true, true. But I would say in that, you know, in order to add a bedroom, they have to come before multiple town boards.
Yeah, but it may be
Yeah.
assumed when it comes to us, oh yeah, it's three-bedroom, that's all we ever designed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's up to them.
Thank you.
Okay, good, we'll get back
All
to
right,
the
I
health
appreciate it,
agent
and, I will, what did I say I was going to send you? Oh, I was gonna give you a copy of this, do you want this, you can have this. This is,
The deed restriction.
Make a
Yeah.
copy of it.
Thank you.
oh, no, you can have it, I can get that online, it's,
Oh, thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
You're too good to me.
I believe it's on their website, yeah. Yeah, they're very common.
No, I appreciate you going through everything with us, that was.
No, I
Thank you.
appreciate you
enlightening.
listening.
All right, next thing on the agenda was a recent incident that took place in the office, which is 47 Star Road. It's concerning the Hearn that bought the property, and there's a squatter in there, and they did a test hole recently, and now the squatter is saying that his septic system isn't working properly and the sink drains go down low. And the email from Deborah said that it wasn't any cause of the test pit holes, the machine wasn't running across anything up there. And that it's a civil matter because the squatter came at the office with a friend of his and they were complaining that it's going to court on who actually owns the property now and has the rights, so.
Who's supposed to be doing that? Does the town have a resident? I mean, the census we do every year is.
The owner died, and I believe he's some sort of relative that
Okay.
doesn't own the property anymore and is
You might have
sworn.
living with the person or something.
It could be. I don't know all the aspects of it, but it is a civil matter.
Yeah.
But it needed to be brought to our attention because they came into the office and was claiming that we did something wrong, the health agent and the person that wants to develop the property.
Well, the health agent's only out there for observations.
No,
I mean, it would have been the engineering firm, whatever,
Yes.
not us, we're just observing what they're
they
doing.
told me that the excavator,
Crushed.
damaged the
Stirred.
septic system. That was,
Hmm.
Yeah, it's Richard Franklin is the squatter.
Were they doing a title, a Title V inspection of the tank system, is that what they were up to? Or were they in the process of, is it gonna be replaced?
I believe he wants to, he's been in front of the planning board for a subdivision, two A&Rs rather. And so he wanted a lot line change. And they had to do a perk test to see if it would support each house that he wanted. He wants to tear down the original.
Okay, so he was just doing a perk test to investigate the possibility of another septic.
Right. Yeah. So I just thought we should have it on the agenda to show that we are aware and that it is a civil matter and not pertain to us. And we've already heard from the health agent via email that they didn't do any damage up there. So.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think also who's the owner, who's
Hearn is the one that got the building rights, and we possibly could ask for any documentation showing that he has from the estate the right to demolish the house and build. He must have some paperwork already, so we could ask for that, Laurie. And have him produce something and.
You did give us something earlier, it's in the file,
In here?
yes. That's my email, go to the next page, I believe it's attached to that.
Is it a legal document saying that?
Yes,
Okay, good. Then we have no problem, and it's up to the civil matter to get the squatter out.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They closed on the property attached to as well. Yeah, I guess. Unless, if the person can show that they're renting there, then there's an issue with, I mean, there's other things that could come in, but we don't really know. If it's just someone that happened to be in there, and
no, we don't.
no rights to the house.
Both sides are telling us that it's in court, it's the matter that's in court.
Because what do we do?
The other thing on there was the health agent's job performance, but she's not
We'll
here,
push
so.
that off.
We'll, yep, put that on. Is there anything else on the board that anyone wants to talk about?
Yes. The first thing was what we talked about, as far as the Tea Garden Restaurant
Oh, yes.
goes. They were supposed to have an engineer's plan, Lori, and they were going to fix that grease trap in the spring. We have not heard anything, and we have not seen any evidence that anyone's doing anything there, so I think they need a letter.
Yep.
I mean, a official letter saying, you know, you
Well, we
said you
could
were
just-
going to do this.
We could always just ask, maybe, it hasn't been done, has it?
No, it hasn't. They were gonna replace the 1,000-gallon tank and increase it
To 5, or was it
to, I believe.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe in sending official letters that can go into a file.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
show
I
that you
know.
did what you needed
But-
to
but-
do.
But we're positive, it may have been, it seems like it was done, they would have sent us something anyway.
Right,
I-
right, we
I
were
go by
supposed to have
there.
the engineer's plan.
Right.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to discuss, so are we agreed?
Yeah,
So you would like me to draft a letter for your review to the Tea Garden?
asking them to follow up on what they promised
Mhm.
as far as plan and replacing the grease trap.
Yes.
And Charlotte made that motion, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
How about having a report come into us at the next meeting, too?
Yep, we could add that to the letter,
Yep. Amend it.
and
we
then the
can
motion to
keep it
include
scrolled.
that.
Yep.
The other thing was, we were going, I said I would bring you the list of restaurant inspections, the way that I had looked it over, so,
Yep.
I want you to see those. And this is, I did it this way simply because I took the dates that Deborah did the actual inspections for this year. And I split it up so that they could go over a 3-month period, because in June, you have to have that, the certificates,
June 30th.
right, given out. And I thought if we did things November, December, and January, that would be a good amount in between, both inspections. And if we stuck to that type of schedule, they would be inspected every 6 months. And there would be enough time to get the written licenses or inspections out. So that was why I did it this way, and then whoever, when these inspections are done, they would need to then write the dates that they were done. But going by this, these first 6 items need to be done in November. Those next 6 would be done in December, the next 6 would be done in January.
We do them twice, they're done twice a year.
Right.
April and November.
And we're gonna begin them in November?
Well, that's what I was thinking, to make it,
July 1st.
We're gonna,
Well,
does
because
the-
you're right next to the first inspection, you wanna give them,
No, because you do them, the ones you're doing in January, you'll be doing in July. The ones you do in February, you'll be doing in October.
okay.
You
but
should use every
everything has
month.
to be done in June. You wanna do them every month?
I do, well, that's how we proposed it last year, to, well, like last January, February, March, nothing was done. What was being done, we don't know. Why would you, we got 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
You do July, then you come back to those in
But you've
January.
already done them to
1,
get
2,
them,
3, and 4 in January.
but you've done them already to get them licensed for June.
I don't know why we're leaving any months out for inspections.
Well, because I.
Each month should be an inspection month.
Right, but if you're starting in November, you know,
Why would you start?
December.
You have to do them twice a year.
right, that's the
Because it's
second part.
already been done in April.
Right, let me finish. The
So-
second part of the year is November and December and January. So you wouldn't wanna start again in January. That's why it's broken up to give a little space between when you just finished them, when you start the new year in April.
No,
These are 6 months
you
apiece. These
start
are
in-
6 months
if you-
apart.
You start in July, and when you come up to January, you should be doing July's restaurants. What you do in August, you'll probably be doing in February. So there is space between, obviously.
Okay, so you just wanna take this all out, even though, see, because these were not done until the dates that are on that.
Oh, we're talking about a whole new year. This year's, it's all messed up. I mean, I could go into a million things here about
Mm-hmm.
about
Okay.
things in, she isn't here, okay?
Okay.
This is like, we're like babies, that we're paying her $30 an hour. You do it July, you don't come back to those until January. So
Mhm.
there's a big space, you do them chronologically.
Okay,
My personal feeling is, I like this. April, May, and June covers all that, 3 months to do the 23. And then you start again in November to do for the fall inspection. I don't see a problem with that.
But what about July, August, and September?
well,
Those
that's
are-
when you're supposed to be doing from what I understood, that was when the septic
Title V.
That's why we're having someone come in, I thought.
Right, I hope that.
I think we're gonna have to get this straightened out.
Okay.
Because I'm at wit's end. Wit's end with this problem.
Okay,
There's,
so you want these things just to be split up into all 12 months?
the
Which I
health
think
agent should be able to, a health agent should be able to take care of this.
Well,
And you
I
do
know
it,
that.
you use every single month.
But it didn't happen, so that's why we
Yeah.
are
But-
intervening.
We're intervening. And I'd be very concerned on, she's not here, but very concerned with the inspections and everything. And I've got a few other, no.
Well, we can't go into that
All right,
tonight.
okay,
This-
why don't we just
this
table
doesn't make
this
any
then?
sense to me.
Okay, we'll table it and then, talk about it next month, okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
And I hope, I expressed alternatives in the past, and I haven't, and we did go in for contracted services. And,
Do you
and
wanna,
that's what if we did have a problem, that's what we had that for.
do you wanna
Now we're
work,
manipulating this, we also have contracted services.
which we didn't use,
Yeah, and I wonder why, there was a big issue, all of a sudden we didn't use it.
because she's off and done.
That's, yeah, well, yeah, and the question is quality and quantity.
Let's get into
Okay,
that
do you-
later. I got a couple other things on
All
this.
right.
I noticed that ice cream trucks, we had 0. I could have sworn we had a couple, or at
That's what
least
Deborah,
one.
this is Deborah's list.
Right, I could have sworn that, because I remember seeing a truck in the parking lot, and they went in to pull a license before the ball fields opened up and stuff. Don't we have any vending, ice cream trucks?
We do. We had two, but they didn't come in this year to
Okay.
pull their applications.
All right, and also I've been noticing on Facebook, there's a new cupcake van that goes to all the
We have
games
that.
and everything, that's down there?
Simple pleasure cupcakes.
Good, good, I'm glad that's on there.
Yeah.
All right, I was just concerned, because I remember seeing ice cream trucks coming in, and this is the time of year that they're out there usually,
Right.
yeah. All right, we'll negotiate this some more. and
Right.
I'm open to, Richard, what you're saying, and I'm open to this.
Yeah,
so-
absolutely. If,
yeah.
maybe if you write it down on a piece of paper.
I'm not, yeah, I
You
can
don't
write it
want-
down, I think it's very clear, we got 23 restaurants, and we gotta do them twice a year, so we got 6 months.
Right, I see what
In the
you're
first
saying.
half year, divide 6 into 23, divide it 24, you get 4 a month. And by the time you come up to, after 6 months, you're starting them all over again. That's
Yeah.
the whole point in the state law.
Yeah,
You use every month, I don't know, we're
Okay.
gonna wait for these 3 months, it does, and if for some
All right, so
reason,
if she does 5 in January, 5 in February, and 5, and then work it up to June,
yeah,
yeah, that's fine too.
that's
I don't-
fine too. As long as there is,
and if for
As
some
long as there's a
reason-
plan in
if
place so
some
that it
reason
gets
we're
done,
in a
Richard.
bind with giving the permits, I mean, giving them their licenses by July 1st, we have the power to close them down if there's a violation on something at any time.
anytime, right?
But we did all agree that, Laurie, you probably need to send a letter to the 23 places, letting them know they're going to have to pick up
I
their
know, Bob, I
licenses.
just haven't got to that yet. I'll
Yeah.
draft that and get it to the three of you to review.
And that'll save time and everything, so that was a good idea, yeah.
I'm also supposed to let them know that the applications are gonna be online
Mm-hmm,
from now
right.
on.
I think that'll be a
Are they
big
online
help.
now? Did you put them on there?
I don't
I'll
think so.
check, I'll see if
Okay,
they And you guys got the tobacco situation? You sent out?
I did.
Yeah, I saw that. yeah.
Basically, in 1996, the Board of Health passed, they took the model bylaw, and in that gives us the power to, the fees
To
and
charge
the
someone.
permit every year. So we, at this point, we're
And I
covered
don't
in
think,
the-
I don't think that's been done, but Deborah's not here to let me know that for sure. But if not, then it will need to be.
Well, I think we're all
Those
set, we're all set with that.
tobacco.
We send, we issue permits, right, to all of them?
They received their licenses.
Okay. And if we see anything on inspections, we're supposed to, note it or something, if there's a
Okay.
violation.
Okay,
We don't necessarily do a separate inspection, because most of them are probably associated with the food establishment or something.
Yes.
well, not all, because there's like Nyrods and liquor stores.
Well, the ones that are with the liquor stores, that's
They're
a separate
separate.
thing,
Oh.
because we don't
Yeah.
handle liquor licenses, that's the selectmen's
Those are the three that I had down here.
assistant.
With the 3 liquor stores that are in, not like Jerry's who sells everything else,
Well,
but,
the liquor stores, don't they sell food usually, and things like that? Don't we have to?
Chips and candy bars
I-
and
We have to.
Slim Jims, I seen it, not.
yeah,
If that's the case,
I don't buy
then-
booze, I just buy
Well, she would have to
lottery
inspect.
tickets.
Yeah, I mean, we
That
don't
stuff-
deal with the booze, but if they're having any food they're selling and stuff like
They
so
that.
do
that's
have
why I
some.
wrote that down, because I thought they should be done, they always have food.
Well, I think the one, I haven't been to any of these any package stores in town, but I know the one on Washington Street there, it looks like they have a lot of stuff.
They do,
Oh, pears, yeah, see, I've been in there buying lottery tickets.
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's a food establishment to an extent.
Yeah, it has
That's-
chips and tonic and everything,
That has to be
Well,
inspected and stuff
yeah,
like that.
that's why it's there, and I thought it
Okay.
should have an
So maybe
inspection
we have more
done.
than 23?
We might, yeah,
Sounds like a couple more, yeah.
well, actually, there's only 21 now.
Oh.
There are 6, 6, 6, and 3.
But what about the liquor stores? That will bring it up to 24?
No,
It's still 21?
Mhm. yeah. Plus ice cream trucks next year, if we have them, that would add on to it. Okay,
All right,
well, we can talk about that again.
need a motion to adjourn at 8:30?
It's not, I think it's not going now. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.